So I want to talk about another way to get reference material, reference imagery. So there's a website, I'm sure you've heard of, Gumroad, and on there a lot of people are starting to post royalty-free photography. You need to just make sure what kind of restrictions they have upon the royalty. Most of the people placing things up there have it stipulated, so you just want to make sure before you buy any of the pieces. But what's nice is a lot of people are kind of trying to entice people. So here you can see a European 350 royalty free images. It's $2 or more. Most of it for Gumroad is donation based with a baseline. Here's another one, photobash.org, which is really good. He's got a lot of different images and also even some tutorials. What I do is I usually click to follow people that I see posting imagery. And here's Jonathan. But what you can see is he's got three out and they're all zero. So for no cost to you, you can get a great pack of photos from Mayan ruins, Sierra Nevada, California coast, and it's just to augment your reference library at little or no cost to yourself. And what I usually do is I'll download one from one of the artists that are for free, take a look at the images, and see if they're worth anything. Like here, War Machinery, zero. So download it. And then if you like it, then maybe you want to find that it's worth to download the Canyons for $10 or Egyptian for 3. But really, when you look at it, here, Castle, zero, download it. Anything that's zero, I really feel that download it, look at the imagery. You may use one or two photos, but it's at zero cost to yourself, and all you're really doing is augmenting your reference library for elements that you already have downloaded from the website or photos that you've taken yourself. And I'll typically try to organize my reference library with folders saying that these are royalty free images, and I'll usually put the name of the artist and then put the photos within it. So here's Jerome's. You can see here he's got 3 sets that are all zero, and then the New York one that's more valuable, he's actually trying to hook people in to pay $4 for. And this guy Jonathan, all three of his are zero. So download all of Jonathan's. It's not going to hurt you. And then here you can see these are some of the folders of the people that I've downloaded. Aerial skies. This costs zero. And then just click and you just tab through and you can really evaluate whether or not was this download worth it. Again, this one cost me nothing. So even if I use one or two photos from this, it's kind of a win. So that's just kind of it. Try this out, see if you like it. Start first with ones that cost nothing. So the power of doing quick paintovers is taking a piece that you've labored over and you want to just quickly try to reinvent it. So this was a demo that I have done, and afterwards I felt like I could improve upon it. So during lunch at one point, I just figured let me just do a quick paint over and rework how some of these elements are working together. And what I tried to figure out is quickly is what do I want to add? Do I want to try to add height to the buildings and just give like these more towering structures that might be man-made, or they might all just be various forms of like buttes? Add some figures on the foreground element. Do I want to do something more with the foreground? Here I just started to darken it down and thought like, well, what if I make it more of a silhouette? So I was trying to see if that could help the readability. And then, there's a little bit of a bowl aspect going on with the foreground element. And maybe there's a way to accentuate that so that we can peer over and look at the elements in the distance. So here I figured, what if I just close off the foreground so that we're going to step over into what's in the midground? And then what if I framed off the sides, even in the distance there, so that we're really kind of isolating the elements? And then here was trying to see, okay, what if I mess with those towering structures and where do I want the eye to go? And here I felt like, okay, well, if I lead in and we're looking at this main mass element, then what I could do with these towering structures is lead the eye, have the shadows and the horizon of the structures guide our eye back towards those three triangular buildings or buttes. And then here with the horizon, the leading shadows, everything would start to lead our eye towards this structure. And then maybe on that main piece, then there'd be a man-made aspect that I could now refine and figure out. So again, it's just something reworking and trying to figure out what could or could work. And then here I just painted out the foreground figures just to see how is everything reading as a set without the story really being told yet. And then, back to where we were, what I did. I feel like that's starting to work better. It's a different piece, basically, in the way that it's relating, but I just felt the other piece lacked a little bit of visual clarity and a little strength into the composition. So now what I would do is if I stick with this, I'll go back in and bring it up to the original level of the piece with reference. And then here I just kind of quickly threw on, a breakdown of the thirds and looked at the composition. And you can see just by design, I'm already having, one of the buttes fall on the one of the thirds and the background buttes are on the third line. And then even that foreground left butte is right near that third uh, breakdown. So everything's starting to have that feel. Now, I could push it even more and drive it home where maybe this mid-ground butte is much more on that third line and then I could eat away into a piece of it. But I don't know if that's that too much on the nose. Is that really pulling too much? But you can see here, doesn't look bad. But really it's just the idea of these paint overs are great because you can quickly, without getting bogged down by the details of the matte painting, do a quick sketch. There's sketch one. Do another sketch, sketch two, and sketch three. And just do it on different layers where you can really play with these different compositions. And then now you can transcribe that back into the original matte painting to finish it off in the way that you wanted to originally.